5:30 p.m. We have a quorum, and we are convening our regular board meeting for the month of May. At this time, we'll have the invocation by Vice Chair Kevin Baer.
You always bow your heads. Dear Lord, please guard and guide us as we make important decisions that affect our communities, our employees, our board, our students, and everyone else that has a connection to Coastal Bend College. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Are there any members or visitors present? We do have public, okay, there are none. We've had public, I believe we have some public comments.
Yes, sir.
We have one, thank you, VP. All right. Kathy Schaefer has signed up for public comments. I've got a little spill I've got to read before and when you're ready, you can come to the podium. But I've got to read this. It indicates the board encourages comments from citizens of the district or employees. Anyone wishing to speak, either as an individual or as a representative of a group, may do so at this time. The board asks that comments pertain to public education issues and be no longer than 5 minutes. The board may not discuss any issues that are not posted on our agenda. If an issue mentioned is listed on tonight's agenda, the board will defer discussion until the appropriate time during the meeting. The board has adopted complaint policies that are designed to secure at the lowest administrative level a prompt and equitable resolution of complaints and concerns. Copies of our district policies on public participation in meetings and filing complaints are available in the board policy manual at www.coastalbend.edu. All right, Ms. Schaefer, please come to the podium, and you may commence at any time.
Thank you. Dr. Suarez got a little preview today of what I was going to discuss.
Okay.
I'm your outgoing, about a week left, Director of Residence Life, and before I leave, I wanted to make a plea to the board to put some money into those halls. We need to start prioritizing where our students live. We have bad HVAC in Benton Hall. We have AC units that are about to die over in the apartment. Had a student move into the apartment and complain of mold growing in her kitchen, in her cabinets. You know, we've had complaints with students. We actually had an actual complaint put in this last year about mold in the vents over there. I know in the past, the C building, the vents were cleaned because Chief's wife was having problems with her asthma. Well, the student was in the B building. They cleaned her vent, but I'm sure the other 3 apartments in that building also has the problem. They're old halls. The maintenance on it has been deferred forever and ever. Our students are living in substandard halls at this point. You know, we have students that are freezing and 2 doors down they're broiling. You know, the chiller helps a little bit, but it's going into old air handlers and old controllers that don't work. I'm going to praise Rick. I know he's not here. I did it today with Dr. Suarez. He checks in with me almost daily to make sure that the hall is actually working, the students aren't complaining. But we have to put money into where they live. We have to stop prioritizing that. It's unfair to our students not to. It's a very simple comment. Just wanted to put it on the board's radar before I leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And there are no other public comments, all right? Thank you, Ms. Schaefer. Are there any comments by any of the individual board members at this time?
I do have a
Yes,
comment.
please.
I just want to say that we attended the Barnhart Award ceremony last night, and I want to thank Dr. Suarez and his team for being out there. We gave awards for the Miss West Wing Scholarship Pageant. It had been promised last September in partnership with Coastal Bend College, and it was a total of $10,000, $5,000 were matched by Coastal Bend College, and we're very excited. And the girls received a lot of other awards. I know that they reported they gave them $350,000 in awards last night, so it's very exciting to see so many students going into higher education. I want to thank you again for being there last night. It's very nice. Appreciate it. Oh, and I also want to recognize that Katrina Ringon is one of our board members. She's a new board member to Ms. Westerly. She's actually a secretary. So thank you, Katrina.
update by the college president, Dr. Suarez.
So I do have about 100 slides of presentation today.
Sure you do.
No, this has been a great month. I just want to start by acknowledging and recognizing the team, the individuals that put forward the work day to day to make sure that we're represented within our communities. Earlier this month, we were able to present to the Jim Wells County Rotary Club, and it was just very invigorating to see that the communities want us there. They want to hear about the work that's taking place at the college, and they want to support us. It was very well attended, and I want to thank Dr. Lisa Castañeda for facilitating a lot of this work as a regional site administrator and making sure that those connections and those conversations are taking place. Once again, it allows us to stay connected to our communities and see what issues they have or how we can support them with respect to academic programming. I had the opportunity to chat with the director of the Boys and Girls Club, and they're very enthusiastic about having Coastal Bend College out there and collaborating with them in some of the instructional programming that they're developing for their organization. So great event and very well attended. It was, I won't share too much on this slide because I don't want to take Dr. Barroso's thunder as part of his presentation. But just very simply, earlier this month, May 7th, we were able to facilitate the Kruger Trek event. And I know Dr. Barroso will share some of the numbers, but we were initially expecting 100 students to attend. In total, we had, actually 100 did attend. We were pending about 40 that weren't able to attend that event. And out of those, 170 actually registered for classes for the summer and fall semester. So this is a very intentional approach to enrollment management to make sure that students aren't experiencing that summer mount and that we're engaging them early on in the process and getting them registered. So when they're able to leave or come to the college and leave with a schedule and ID in hand, I think that is very impactful in making sure that we're connecting and engaging with our students early on. So I want to thank Dr. Barroso and his team for facilitating that work. So on May 8th, we were able to facilitate the Employee Appreciation Brunch. This was a day full of a lot of activities and engagement taking place across the college. I want to thank the HR team and that committee for putting together that work. It was very well organized. I know they collaborated with other individuals across the college. Melissa Sanchez, who is not here, they all supported one another in making sure that we are recognizing our employees for the work that they do and the amount of time that they've been at the institution and having a lasting impact at the college. So huge kudos to talent development and HR and Nadine, who is here today as well, and that team. So thank you all so much for keeping our employees engaged and making them feel important in the work that we do day to day. I do, before we skip onto the next slide, this event was also taking place while we had the Board of Nursing on site. And I know the next slide, which Dr. Barroso had facilitated a PR event that we had lined up in Alice. He was presenting information on the Promise program. So it just goes to show the amount of collaboration that's taking place across the college with 3 very important events taking place seamlessly at the same time. It really does require all of us to kind of roll up our sleeves and work collaboratively as a team. So also want to thank the executive cabinet team for putting together that work and just standing behind our mission and the work that needs to take place for our students. And I won't share too much details regarding the Board of Nursing visit. What I can share is that the prospect is positive. We're very excited for the next couple of months and what that means for instructional programming with respect to our allied health fields at the college. And it was a very successful event, and Vice Chair Bear was able to meet with the coordinator. We won't go into the details of those conversations, but we're excited, we're hopeful, and I think there's a lot more great things coming to Coastal Bend College within the next couple of months because of the work that's taking place by our faculty and staff. So quick highlight for Dr. Barroso. Once again, he facilitated the Promise program interview. Dr. Barroso, you don't mind just sharing some quick highlights on the number of applicants that we've had to date since we launched the program April 1st.
We have about 100 students, so we're just waiting to wrap up the semester to start actually screening them to see who's going to be available. And as soon as we start wrapping it up, we're looking definite counts and everything, but it's been a positive response across the service area. And again, with very little marketing, we can see that the students are actually either from word of mouth or through their counselors submitting for the Promise and for this opportunity. And everywhere we present, everywhere we visited, It's been a very positive response from both parents, community members, counselors alike.
Can I ask a question? On those students that has been picked up on the Promise program, is that gonna be a 2 years or just every semester?
So it covers up to 3 years by semester, and then it'll be depending on, of course, trying to get them to complete, the associates as soon as they can. So it's up to 3 years, August break.
And they have to keep up a certain grades to stay in the Promise program?
Yes, we're really good academic standing, which is a 2.0, and then of course keeping in good SAP standing as well for financial aid.
Thank you, sir.
And they also have to be enrolled full-time as well, so part of this approach is making sure that we're getting them to completion timely so that they can finish with us and then go on to do other things at the 4-year level, whether it's enrolling in obviously a bachelor's degree here locally or somewhere within the state. So and part of that process is making sure that they're transitioning quickly and not running through the amount of financial aid that they have throughout their lifetime. So it's just a very intentional approach to enrollment management, transfer, and completion rate.
Thank you.
And the full load is 12 hours?
Yes.
minimum?
12 semester credit hours, correct. So on May 12th, we had the Lunch and Learn here on campus. It was also very well attended. We were able to highlight a lot of the initiatives that we have been working with our community on throughout this academic year. Some of the things that we shared were initiatives like the 4.5-day work week, the Promise program, another initiative that we launched this month as well, the Promise to Promise, which I'll be sharing a little bit more details on in just a bit. But I just want to thank everyone here this evening from the community as well. The support that you all have given this college and the initiatives that we've undertaken are really meaningful and impactful, and they allow us to tell this story of where we're going as an institution and where we need to be for our students to make sure that we're removing barriers and ensure that they're successful while they attend Coastal Bend, but also as they transition out of the institution. So on May 13th, we did have the Cougar to Jaguar launch, the official signing ceremony. Just to recap what this initiative is, it's an agreement, it's a Promise to Promise initiative. It's actually the first in the nation between two-year community colleges. And actually, I know our board has been very supportive of this framework. You all should be very proud of this. We've actually received, you all are published officially as part of the work that's taking place for the American Association of Community College Trustees. That journal will release in June, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Okay, so officially we'll get that for our trustees and the work that's been taking place. So the board governance also is very important in the initiatives that we're undertaking. So I want to thank the trustees for just supporting our administration and this work day to day. What this initiative is, it's South Texas College has agreed to give us, or CVC graduates, a total of 15 per year over the next 3 years, access to a tuition-free bachelor's degree online. So we'll keep them here locally, we'll support the economic development of our region, and we'll do it at no cost to our students. So when we aggregate what this agreement means for our students in a dollar amount, basically it's upwards of almost $1 million that we're saving our communities here within the Coastal Bend by just having a partnership with this institution. I will share that we are having a very similar conversation with Del Mar College. I actually have a meeting scheduled with Dr. Escamilla tomorrow. They've also been very supportive in wanting to align with the work that's taking place at the institution. So I'm very hopeful, and it looks very promising that we'll likely have a very similar agreement with Del Mar, I would say in the next couple of weeks or months. So a huge shout out to our regional peers for supporting us in this work as well.
That's some great stuff.
Yeah.
That really is.
Yeah, we're having fun. It's been a really good year, I would say.
Yeah.
Great semester and a great week also. So.
Dr. Suarez, the students that stay here, we're gonna help foster them as they go through their bachelor's degree program.
And that's I think that's one of the very innovative pieces of this agreement is that we're not just handing them off to another institution. We're saying we stand behind you. We'll provide you with tutoring services. We'll let you access our labs. You can meet with our advisors. We want to make sure you stay on the correct path when you transfer out. Typically, with articulation agreements, it is a handoff, right? We transfer them over. We just make sure that most of the credits align, and we say, we'll see you in 2 years once you get your degree. But in this process, like I said, we're standing behind our students and making sure that they're successful and providing all of the wraparound services that CVC has to offer, like tutoring, advising, mental health services, the food pantry, all of that is gonna be available to our students as they progress through this program. So once again, standing behind our students to make sure that they're successful.
Thank you.
Yeah, great stuff. And I think it should be evident why this award was received by the college, right? The bold approaches that we've taken and what we're doing to be innovative within our industry. May 14th, the college did receive the 2026 Top Colleges for Innovation Award by Insights for Academia. This is the inaugural award. There was only one other college that received the recognition within the state of Texas, and that was the Alamo Colleges District. So that speaks to just the work that we're doing and how it deviates from the traditional model of offerings and programmatic opportunities and partnerships that we have at the college. So we should all be very excited. Thank you to the staff, the faculty, the team, our partners for getting us to this point. We're excited about the work that's going to take place over the next year as well, but this just recognizes the great work that our board is doing and our team is doing day to day for our students. And just want to highlight very quickly or briefly our spring commencement ceremonies. We were fortunate enough to have a very large graduating class for spring 2026. Over 500 graduates. The fact that we needed to host 3 separate graduation ceremonies, even when we held one graduation ceremony in the fall, just speaks to the work that we're collaborating with our partners on and the success of our students. So it was very, for me, very inspirational to see our students walk across the stage, but also see the bleachers in the gymnasium really at full capacity. I think at some point as a college we likely have to explore a bigger venue just to give students a more of a different experience with respect to graduation. But those are discussions that we'll have as an administrative team over the next couple of months. So a huge shout out to all of our graduates for spring 2026. Just some quick photos. Huge shout out to Arturo, he's here today. I do need to recognize him. So anyone that's willing to put on that mascot outfit in the summer and wear it with pride and just be so engaging. So after we want to thank you. I know Kyle, I think you know from experience having to wear that uniform and that mascot. But we thank all of the team for the work that they do. It does go a long way in supporting our students. And just as Trustee Silas mentioned, last night we had the distinct honor of joining the Joe Barnhart Scholarship Foundation Awards, and we were able to recognize a large number of students that are going to be attending or have plans to attend Coastal Bend College, and actually spoke to Nora about just how much we had actually allocated to the awards of these scholarships as a college. And just CBC alone was over $90,000 with respect to the amount and number of awards that we gave out last night. So a huge shout out to the Joe Barnhart Foundation and that team and Beeville ISD in supporting this work. They have a very beautiful auditorium, so it's something to be very proud of. It was just an amazing event all around, so it's great. Just some quick updates. We will be closed Monday, May 25th for in recognition of Memorial Day. I just wanted to highlight that upcoming holiday, federal holiday for the college. That's what I have for my presidential report. Updates.
Agenda item number 6, mission moment, Dr. Suarez.
This mission moment, we met as a cabinet, executive cabinet team, and this individual has been spearheading a lot of our enrollment management initiatives, really using a data-driven approach and a very strategic approach to how we engage with students and the access that the college as a whole has to data. I know coming to the CBC early on last fall, we had some issues with the accessibility of data, which often makes it difficult to track enrollment. But so with that being said, this month's mission moment goes to our Dean of Enrollment Management, Dean Estrada. We want to thank him for the work that he's doing. And we do have a little goodie bag for you as well, so we have the college.
Thank you so much for your work. We appreciate
just wanna say I have a really good team, and so I can't go without saying. So,
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you, Dean Esteban. Oh, really? Okay. We could, if it's okay with you, move up those. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, the chair will use its discretion to move up agenda item number 9A, which is the administration of the oath of office and the issuance of certificates of election for Board of Trustees Place 1, 2, and 3 that were elected at the uncontested May 2nd, 2026 election. Ms. Mercy Flynn to my right and Ms. Anna Marie Sidlas to my right were re-elected. And we have returning new board member, Ms. Castillo, in the audience. I'd like, if there's no objection, I've spoken to two of the trustees. I'd like to administer the oath together all at once. Ms. Castillo, you're going to be sitting to Mr. Bear's left. Do you want to go ahead and just come up here? And then I'll move to the podium. I'll move to the podium and administer the oath to the three trustees. Yeah, please, Ms. Sidlas, just, if you could just stand in your place, Ms. Castillo. There is a statement and then there's an oath of office. One of them is not the easiest to recite. I think it was drafted by someone like me, an attorney. And it's not, I hate, when it's my turn to take this oath, I dread it. But it shouldn't be too bad. If each of you could please raise your right hand and swear, I, state your name,
I, Dylan Casillas,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I have not directly or indirectly
that I have not directly or indirectly
paid, offered, promised to pay,
paid, offered, promised to pay,
contributed, or promised to contribute
contributed, or promised to contribute
any money or thing of value,
any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office or employment
Or
promised any public office or employment
for the giving or withholding of a vote
for the giving or withholding of a vote
at the election at which I was elected,
at the election for which I was elected,
or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation,
or as a reward to confirm my appointment or confirmation,
whichever the case may be,
whichever the case may be,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Right? That's the first one, and, okay. Second is the oath of, yes. Yeah, in a minute, after we're done, you will sign, and Mary will assist you with that. So that was the statement. Next is the actual oath of office. Continue to hold your right hand, and I will read this. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I, please state your name,
I, Dylan Casillas,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
of Coastal Bend College Trustee Place,
of Coastal Bend College Trustee Place 3,
okay, of the state of Texas,
the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and
the
laws
Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay, congratulations. Yeah, okay.
I just want to say thank you so much for my family, friends, and colleagues that are here. I know that we have other events to go to, and they have other events to go to. But thank y'all so much for being here. I do appreciate it.
Welcome on board, Ms. Castillo. I know you previously served on the board. It's good to have you back.
Thank you. Excited to do that.
Yes.
Thank you.
We will go now to the consent agenda, but I believe there are no consent agenda items. Okay, that was item 7. The agenda, we'll move on to item 8, reports. Dr. Suarez.
So for the first report, the administration is bringing the report on the estimated property values for fiscal year 2026 and 2027. We did get this information earlier this month earlier last month from the B Central Appraisal District. The estimated taxable value for properties, tax properties is the amount that's listed here. So $3,285,293,942. So this is just brought to the trustees as a report. No action is required. So that's the report on this item 8B.
Item 8B, Student Affairs and Enrollment Management, Cougar Trek Initiative.
So for this next item, we do have Dr. Barroso, who will be presenting more detailed information on the success of our Cougar Trek. We're very happy with this initiative. And once again, a huge shout out to our Student Affairs and Enrollment Management teams. I joked with Dr. Barroso earlier last week, and I said, can you just do this maybe 1,000 more times so we can have 7,000 students enrolled at the end of the spring semester? But I'll go ahead and pass it on to Dr. Barroso to ensure that information has.
Thank you, Dr. Flores, and thank you, board members, for having me. I will be presenting, but it really is a story of the staff, the Student Affairs Enrollment team, and really the entire institution, because as was mentioned earlier, everybody really came together to make a successful event. Everything from the faculty that was involved, the custodians were able to help getting everything ready and maintenance facilities, to the team members, to everybody just kind of made it come together. Do we have to look at the presentation?
I don't know.
Thanks.
Let me go.
We have copies of it printed, so.
So we'll kind of go through as I'll put up, but the first slide, you'll see this is the outcome of some of the students at the end after they were registered. The group of the students with the mascot. This will be pretty much the first report of some of the initiatives that I mentioned when I first presented. As we start kind of wrapping up the year, you'll start seeing some of these enrollment initiatives kind of coming through. The second slide you'll see is kind of that re-envisioning of the student onboarding experience, which is what the whole fast track was kind of designed to do. It was scheduled on May 7th. We had 203 students that were identified that we were targeting and working with. And it was really targeted to focus on celebrating the new students as they become Coastal Bend College students, their experience on campus, and then getting ready for that first day of class. Students that were not able to register, trying to avoid those multiple trips coming back and forth, letting them know exactly what they needed so they can make that one trip coming back and taking care of everything they needed. And then, of course, engaging the students and connecting them with the college and giving them that college experience. The third slide, you'll see these are the participating districts, the schools that we had on campus. Of course, we had Kennedy, Alice, Pettis, Mathis, and then Bevo, which is A.C. Jones. The largest schools that had the largest students were Bevo and Alice, but all of the schools brought their students, and as I'll kind of touch base towards the end, they were all able to interact together, which is really the whole purpose, wanting the students to find those connections and kind of start building that success network with each other.
Dr. Waddle, just I think because it's important, I know one of the high school counselors had some, she shared her sentiment regarding the event. Apparently she was also an alumni, I believe it was the Pettis ISD counselor. Can you share with the trustees just her comments regarding the event?
I don't know which one it was, because I spoke to several of them,
Yeah.
and I still haven't learned all the counselors yet. But yes, it's been very positive responses. At the end, I did include some of the quotes with some of them, but for the most part, all of them had a very good experience coming on campus. especially allowing them to know what they need to do next year to help their students get ready, but also really giving the student an overall experience and kind of eliminating all of the barriers that may be experiencing. A lot of the schools, we would go to them and help them through kind of a one-stop shop at the school itself, but bringing them onto the campus is a very, very different experience. And we also have some of the students from Alice or Kingsville that came, or Alice, some of the other districts that came over because they're used to just that campus itself, just that site. And comparing Beeville to Alice is very different, and kind of seeing that, having the students kind of see that different in the campuses was a huge just kind of, I don't want to say wake up call, but a huge kind of reality check for them when it comes to higher ed, and really being able to see the different opportunities that wait for them.
Did you have any of them express a desire to come to this campus?
There were, yes. Because of course the size of the campus is just, you see the campus itself, yeah. So I'm sure those will be interesting conversations at home with their mothers.
And I don't know who I spoke to, I think I spoke to someone on the team, but the counselor got emotional. She said, I think you all quite literally brought her to tears in a good way. But her feedback was, I wish this would have been here when I was a student. And I think that's just shows the level of programming that the team had. It was very engaging, it had music, it was a very lively event. And it was just very great to see the students engage with not only the students from their school, but students from other campuses as well.
The next slide, you'll kind of see that agenda piece for the day. There was a welcome, and then of course the advising, registration, and then the celebration itself. Lunch was provided, and then the picture of the shirt again is what they got. I'll tell you, when they were told that they were the only ones that were getting the shirt, they really enjoyed it. Because again, it goes back to making people special, and it was for them. It was their moment.
And you were able to do the advising and registration in an hour with all the
Yes.
students that were here?
Yeah, so there were some students that took a little bit longer. I think we had blocked about an hour and a half for the schools and for them, but for the most part, the majority of them were able to complete it. And that's kind of the beauty of these events, and that, as I mentioned, really kind of working with all the departments together, because they were able to facilitate the students. And as some of the advisors in one classroom were finishing, they'd go over and help the others in the other class. So we were able to quickly kind of work through, get the students advised, registered, and then they would go over to the gym for.
So you had some faculty participation during this event?
We did, so the faculty was actually in the gym itself, as part of the celebration piece to kind of start connecting each other with the programs and then the resources that we have on campus.
Good job.
Yeah.
And just to share, Trustee, also, one of the reasons that this event was so successful is just the amount of pre-planning that the team did. So the fact that they cleared all the TSI scores before the students even came to campus, they were quite literally ready to just get in the system, register, go through that advising experience. So a lot of the pre-planning that takes place prior to them even getting on campus is
Something that we usually don't typically start looking at until they get here, give me your name, number, oh, okay, let me figure this out.
Exactly, and so, again, the beauty of the event itself is allowing the staff to start working with students early on, and allowed us to kind of see how that journey and the experiences for the student, because we typically, in the past, haven't communicated to the student, we have to take the TSI until they're actually here. And it allowed us to work with the testing department and with the schools themselves, to how we can begin to automate some of these scores and do that batch loading, so the student doesn't have the TSI as that barrier for them.
And so where were they administered the TSI? Did they just do it at one of our campuses, or were they able to do it at their high school?
Yeah, so they did it at their high school beforehand, yeah, and so the staff here were just screening the students and letting them know if they had the TSI or not. If they weren't able to take it at their high school, then we would invite them over here to the campus to take it. But all of that was trying to be done beforehand to the event. I love pictures because I think that's the best way to tell the story. I wish you could see them online, but the next page you kind of see that welcome, as the students were able to engage with Dr. Suarez, with the enrollment team, with Dean Estrada and the recruiters. And that welcome was really the key point to this, because it was setting the tone for the day and the expectations for the day. We want students to know exactly what they were going to be accomplishing and what the purpose of that was. And it was, they were here to register for courses, but to celebrate their experience and to celebrate them and be proud of becoming Jaguars. So from the welcome, they kind of broken up, and that's where we're taking them over to the advising with the labs. The next slide, you'll kind of see the highlights for the day. We had 98 students who actually attended. There was some other events going on. I believe, I think Corpus or Kingsville had one event at the university. so some of the schools had to go that way. But we had 90 students who were actually able to attend, 72 of them registered for courses, which adds up to about 75% of them overall. For next year, our goal is 100% because we want all the students to attend to register. Some of this was also because, of course, those last minute students that were added to the bus or made that last decision to attend. But we will work with them, we're able to help them, and of course, those that were able to register, we will register. The other big part to this is, as I mentioned at the beginning, there was over 200 students that were identified. Well, we know who those students are. So there's those 105 students that were not able to attend. Those are the students that we're following up with now to get them registered. So all the students have a pre-planned schedule. The advisors are contacting them and working with them to make sure they get registered and are ready for the first day of class. So even though they're not able to attend, we're still working with them to give them the same experience and get them ready so they'll be ready and don't have to make those multiple trips again.
Most of these schools that I saw here, I think, are talent search schools also.
Yes.
And talent search typically does this for the students, is to help them register for whichever college. So if ever you need some assistance with that, they're able to count these students as their students and help register them.
Yes, I think some of the Alice
Campus,
came over,
yeah.
and then I think the other one was Pettis, or not this, the Upward Bound students too.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you know, even when they come to these events, if they're talent search students, you think the talent search people can actually help them when they get here to do whatever your staff did for the registering.
Great.
Just
perfect. No, that's
FYI,
perfect,
just
yeah.
because I did Trio.
No, and I think that's great because again, it goes back into the whole purpose of the
And it
Trio
brings
program.
Trio into your group, and it allows for more collaboration because they go out and do a lot of outreach for us.
Definitely. The next slide will show kind of that student experience. You'll see kind of some of the activity that was happening in the gym. Those resource tables, Mrs. Sanchez set up a little coffee bar, so she was kind of being a little barista. All of the students who went to them, they kept them busy throughout the day. Yeah, we had a lot of different activities and games for the students. Again, they were getting lunch. The next one, you'll see a lot of that Cougar Pride, as I mentioned. One of the biggest pieces to this was that student ID. You know, you'll see them holding the ID, and that was probably the highlight of that day. Yeah, because we know that ID is essentially what connects it back to, I'm an official college student. And I think that has been a big piece that has been missing in the past for a lot of these students. And you'll see them in their smiles, their genuine smiles every time that we saw them. You know, and I think that was one of the biggest pieces, and again, that was one of the highlights of the counselors. We even had some of the counselors say that they wanted to do something similar for their dual credit students, so that the dual credit students begin to feel like college students as well. You know, so that's gonna be that next step as we start working with our dual credit team.
That's really great, good job.
And the next one is just some of the comments that we heard from some of the students. Of course, there's so many different positive comments that happened through. And again, that qualitative piece is very important because these are more than just numbers and data and enrollment. You know, these are students who have actually experienced this and lived through it. You know, and so a lot of them, they were happy because they made new friends. We had one student who connected, I think she was from Alice, and the other one was from Mathis, or Pettis, I can't remember which school. And they added each other to Instagram. You know, so they were starting making these connections with them. And again, that's what it comes down to because, you know, we want them to make these networks and be successful with each other. The counselor, again, as I mentioned, she mentioned now she knows exactly what she has to do for next year. I think this initial first time around, they didn't necessarily understand the concept of what's going on, but once they experienced it, as Dr. Suarez mentioned, it was a whole different vibe for them because they got to see what the students were experiencing. And a lot of them were saying that they're going to go back and tell their other schools or other counselors and other colleagues they missed out because it really is a great experience. And so what we're looking to, of course, next year is add multiple dates because we want students to experience it and have them go back to the school, show their shirts, show their IDs, make their friends jealous, and then those friends come back and
Yes,
join
that's
them.
exactly right.
And then, of course, as I mentioned, the highlight to everything was the students are really excited about their IDs. You know, I think we had enough in the role that we had just to make enough for the students that were there. So they all were able to leave, the ones that registered, as I mentioned. And again, that was the key point. The last one was supposed to be a video. If you are on Facebook, the video is on the Facebook page. And that kind of really shows the activity and the highlight of the day. And I encourage you all to kind of log on and see the video. It's maybe like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. The PR team did great. It's a beautiful video, great music, and it shows the energy of the day, the excitement of the students as they're getting off of the bus, going to the welcome, and then kind of going through the day with the advisors. And then, of course, wrapping up with the activities of the celebration piece at the end. And again, it's a great experience, a great initiative for the first time. we're definitely looking forward to next year. And although I'm the one reporting on it, it really is the staff story, because they're the ones that they're putting together, you know, from the Estella to the recruiters to Katrina, everybody. It's like, this is what we're gonna do, and they run with it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really great to be working with a team and staff that make these things possible.
And Dr. Barros or Venus, I don't know if you mind sharing just where we're tracking on enrollment right now as far as a percentage over last year. If not, I have the data, I can pull it up as well.
So this is from last year, and I forgot to be able to remember this year. So this year, the traditional enrollment is up by 1.3%. So we're maintaining that increase, you know, and I expect that to keep going up as we start working off with these, you know, 100, 200 students that we're seeing. We're also identifying other markets, other buckets of students, those dual credit students that are graduating, that haven't registered, trying to get them on those tracks to complete their programs. The dual credit population is also increased. They have over 80 students, which is a 24.46% from last year. You know, and then the TDCJ is also up by 4 students. Overall, you know, this fall semester, this coming fall semester, we're at 738 students already. From last fall, which is at 658, it's a difference of about 88 students for an overall increase of 12.33%. So enrollment is definitely tracking in the right direction, and we're expecting this to continue as we go through the summer and then start entering the fall.
How many of those do you envision to be traditional students that will be coming and maybe coming to campus and not necessarily online? Do you have a way of telling that, or too early?
Yeah, we'd have to go look at their enrollment. That's a very good question, though. I think that's definitely something worth looking at. I will tell you there has been an increase in on-campus courses. So those courses are filling up very fast. So I would expect the majority of the students to be kind of leaning in that direction, or to be pretty balanced.
It's so nice to see a full campus.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the online, you know, I wanted to be an online student as well, but it's nice when they're young to have that campus experience.
Yes.
Congratulations to you and your team. It's awesome work.
Thank you.
Next, agenda items 8C, talent engagement, new hire orientation. Dr. Slice.
For this report, I'll defer to Dr. Lytle and the talent development team. I wanted them to present to the board just a lot of the changes that we've been making to onboarding of staff. As I shared with the trustees before, the previous onboarding structure, I think, definitely needed some improvements. And the HR team, the talent development team, has just done an amazing job. I think they're also leading a very innovative approach to onboarding that we typically don't see in higher education. So it's a work that they should be very, very proud of, and I want to have them present this information to the trustees.
Okay, so we have our Cougar Welcome, Unleashing Your Potential. So this is what we've titled our onboarding. And orientation, it's actually been the team, especially led by Nadine and Roxanne, that has really pulled this together. If you go to the second one. So the initiative, the overview is the launch of a structured institution-wide onboarding program that supports employee engagement, retention, and readiness, aligns new employees to the mission, culture, and student success. And it's designed for our area because we are so large of an area, so that we can bring in everybody from all the campuses. In our first one that we had, which was in March, we had new hires. We brought in people that had been hired within 30 days. We brought in our seasoned hires, it's employees that were hired as of 9/1. And we brought in veterans that have worked here just so that they could audit the program to see what we could do and how we could increase, or how we could make it better. So this is our agenda. So this is day 1 and day 2 of how our new hire orientation is running. So they have a check-in and breakfast. We do bring them a little food. One of our early comments was we needed to have better food instead of just breakfast bars. So we've kind of increased that a little bit. We've broken it down into each area so that all of the vice president and the cabinets are represented, and that we have all of it broken down into smaller segments so that people can ask questions and everything is covered. All of the HR team is involved in this, so each one of them, they will cover their area at different times. The first one we had was 1 day. We tried to increase we tried to have everything in one day. It was just trying to ram it down their throats. So brought it into 2 days and split it up where there was more questions, more answers. We want to expand it. At the end, we want it to be 5 days. So all week. We haven't made it yet, but if you go to the next one, it's 5-day orientation model. So day 1, we'll have the institutional welcome and campus connection. Day 2, operations, compliance, and excellence. Day 3, student success and enrollment culture. Role clarity and performance planning on day 5. On day 4 and day 5 is readiness, commitment, and launch. And then along in there somewhere, we will also be taking them to the other campuses so they can tour the campuses. So the standards and quality assurance, so we broke it down so that they have breaks in a different modality to reduce the fatigue. Continuous improvement through feedback, engagement centered with hybrid and virtual sessions designed, and structural reflection to reinforce the institutional priorities. The hybrid and site-aware delivery. So the Beeville is our campus. If you want to go to the next one. Beeville is our anchor orientation site, but we have been doing hybrid if they're at the other site and just can't come to the site. To Beeville, it's just easier that they sometimes can do it over the virtual. And it just gives us equitable access. And then, of course, travel, we don't have to pay for the travel, and they don't have to spend the time traveling. So the system-wide campus tour day, we're gonna schedule that within the first 60 days of employment. We have it scheduled right now with it on day 3. We just haven't figured out how to actually manage all 3 of them in one day. So that's one of the things we're trying to work out. And it just builds awareness of the CDC School Campus Network, and it just strengthens collaboration and ability to serve our students. Our expected outcomes from this program is to improve employee retention and engagement, faster role readiness and productivity, stronger institutional culture and collaboration, enhanced student support and service consistency and alignment with accreditation and institutional effectiveness, and research. I need to add research in that. So responsibilities, as you can see, basically the whole college system has responsibilities to help us orientate these people. It may start in talent engagement, and it may start with the vice presidents and bringing their knowledge in, but their supervisors, their coworkers, everybody has a part in the orientation. This is what we started out on March 2nd, or March 22nd. We had a 1-day orientation. We had one person that had been hired. We had 5 new hires. On April 20th, we had 2 days. We had a seasoned hire of 1, we had 2 new hires. And then on Monday, the 18th, we had 2 days, and we had two seasoned hires, and then 4 brand new hires. Just so that you can kind of see. So we're gonna extend this on out. We're doing feedback, snapshots. So we have respondents that told us what they were expecting or how they felt comfortable. 100% of them felt comfortable asking questions during the session. Overall experience, they rated it as good at 57%, and you can kind of see that they strongly agree or agree. And then their comments on what was most valuable to them. Benefits and payroll was one of the top ones. Highlighted the inclusion such as meeting the presidential cabinet and getting an inside look as to what people's functions and how they contribute to the college. More knowledge, with more knowledge they will become better employees for us. Then just the presenter snapshot, this is just more of the feedback highlights, just thank you and how they send us some of their feedback. So phase 3 of our implementation was May 18th. We'll do it phase 4 in June. Phase 5, and then phase 6 is August. And then full implementation will be September. So we're kind of, it's changing as we go. It's very fluid right now. We're adding new things. We're taking in all the feedback and making it better. So the next steps, you can see is the phase in implementation, feedback review, the supervisor engagement and accountability managers. We haven't exactly had our champion cohort yet, but we will get there. And then the new student orientation, September 26th, launch. And
What is
then
the champion cohort again? I'm sorry.
we're gonna have, Nadine, you wanna?
Absolutely,
Nadine
sure.
had to do that.
So previously we had mentors or buddies. Unfortunately, that is a dated term now. So when I went to the internet and I found what was new and what was cool and what was happening, it's champions. We want to champion people so that they are representatives of CBC and they're helping our new hires guide into the CBC culture and also be that feedback and there's things that I'm still learning. I've been here almost 2 years that I'm still learning today in our new hire orientation. So it's really just giving that champion, and we're making it a cohort so that we can thank them, that we can treat them, we can make them feel special, so that we give them that. What's the word? We champion them to have to be that person on campus for those new hires. So we're working on that because we're working through all the kinks. We are a smaller college, so I need to see what that looks like as far as what size of cohort that would be. But that's what we're working towards, yeah. And I will say I'm working on the new student orientation in the fall. That is what I'm most excited about. Payroll gets to work with our student workers a lot because of their timesheets. So we definitely want to give them that experience as well and give them that first experience of this is what it's like to have a job. You are responsible for your timesheet, for making sure it's on time, communicating with your supervisor, communicating with payroll. So we want to get that new student orientation to get that new perspective for the students as well.
I think this is really a good idea, but is that September you said that you're going to wrap up the whole thing? Can you include retention in that? The employees' retention?
As a report to the board?
Yes.
So I can do that. I had it planned as a report for the board already.
That will be-
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And I want to say, we did submit this to Coupa HR, so hopefully we get selected to present this at Coupa, because I don't believe there's a college that's doing an orientation like
I think
this.
it's
I
amazing.
don't think we have. Good job.
It's a very, it's an innovative and intentional approach. If you look at the dates that Dr. Lytle shared, we're hosting orientation once a month, so hiring only takes place officially once a month as opposed to circulating every 2 weeks. There's new hires onboarding because we wanted to be very intentional and slow down and say, let's get them ready, let's give them the information that they need before we put them with their supervisors to undertake the work. And most models that you'll see, I would say within higher education, it's a half-day orientation where you sign all your benefit paperwork, and then it's kind of like, we'll see you, sink or swim. You're gonna do great. And we don't want to take that approach.
And most of the paperwork is already done when they come in. They're not even doing paperwork.
It's just learning.
Yes, that's awesome.
Great work.
Next agenda item is 8D, report on potential 2026 tax maintenance snow or deferred maintenance projects. Dr. Sweats?
So in this report, we have our good friend Victor Quiroga actually here to present. This is just for reporting purposes only. It doesn't require any action by the board at this time. It's just some insights on some possible recommendations in the future on capital improvement projects as part of our tax maintenance stuff.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, trustees of the board, Dr. Suarez, thank you for having me here this evening. For the record, my name is Victor Quiroga with Specialized Public Finance, and the honor of representing the college as your financial advisor. We're here to provide you a report regarding a financing tool that the college has issued in the past and primarily used for deferred maintenance, which every entity probably has a little bit to catch up on. So the first page after the cover sheet, just an executive summary. We're in a very unique position in that we're paying off one of the maintenance taxes that we issued in the past, and so it's creating a little bit of capacity there to replace that old debt with a new debt so that you could address some additional capital improvement needs for the college. And so we'll talk a little bit about how much we could afford and how that would be structured. But if you go to the next page, please. These are the 4 common debt financing tools that colleges incur to take care of their capital improvement needs. The first one is combined fee revenue bonds, and that's actually the first transaction that I did for you all back in the early 2000s. And then general obligation bonds with colleges, it's not very common to do general obligation bonds. This is when you go out to a vote and ask the voters for their approval to issue debt on their behalf. Then we have maintenance tax notes that we're talking about today as well. And so if you go to the next page, maintenance tax notes, that's the tool that's allowed by the state constitution for colleges to finance capital improvement needs. However, there are some limitations. When you issue this type of debt, you don't have to have a bond election, but you can only use those proceeds for the repair renovation of existing facilities. So what we can't do is if we have a foundation, we can't expand on that foundation, we can't add to it horizontally, but you can, fix anything within the shell. You could replace HVAC system, you could replace roofs, you could buy equipment with it, even vehicles as well. So we could issue this debt up to 20 years. However, for the amount that we're talking about right now, typically we're looking at investors wanting to just invest for about 10 years. And so that's the structure that we're looking at right now. Colleges are unique too in that you operate very much like a school district, but colleges have a little bit more flexibility. You could issue these maintenance tax notes and you could use your interest and sinking fund tax rate or your INS tax rate. That's a separate bucket that's solely used for the repayment of debt. And so that's what's been used here in the past for the college. And so if you go to the next page, we have 2 maintenance tax notes outstanding. The last time we did this was in 2023, where we issued about $6.6 million in maintenance tax notes for your needs. Right now, this current fiscal year 2026, we'll be paying off this year 2021 maintenance tax notes. So you can see there in the bar graph how there's going to be some room there for your principal and interest payments to fit in another financing to take care of additional capital improvement needs that you have. And so if we go to the next page, those are very small numbers, so I'm glad you have a handout in front of you. This is a pro forma, so basically what we do whenever we incur debt, we want to make sure that number one, you could afford it, and it's not going to impact your tax rate. And that was the goal back in 2023, and also the goal here is that you're using about 2.5 cents from your INS tax rate, and the goal is to keep it around the same level, accounting for the tax note debt that we have outstanding plus the new one that we intend to issue here. The amount that we're looking to issue and still maintain your INS tax rate at the current level is about a little over $2.9 million. The projects that the college is considering, they all are eligible for this type of financing. We've talked to the bond attorneys that represent the college, and so everything is fine. And so the message today is that you could afford about $2.9 million. You could keep your INS tax rate the same and address some additional capital improvement needs that you have. And so the next page is the next steps for successful financing. A lot of the work or legwork has been done already between myself and the administration. We've been talking for a number of months just to let them know the opportunity. And so they've gathered some capital improvement needs, and again, they've all qualified under this financing tool. Today, you're just getting a report on this maintenance tax notes, but essentially what my office will do next, if you're interested, we could go ahead and start gathering the bid packages and send them out to various bond investors throughout the country. Next month, myself or someone from my office will come back to you and present those interest rates to let you know what kind of a fixed interest rate we're going to get. That'll allow you all to get funding for the $2.9 million in about July timeframe, so you can continue working on your capital improvement needs. And so the last page here is just a summary of what I talked about. Again, we're paying off debt, so it's an opportunity to fill it in with about $2.9 million of new maintenance tax notes for additional capital improvement needs. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
This might be a question for Dr. Suarez. Dr. Suarez, what is our potential, I guess, our capital projects right now on the books? I know we always have something that's always growing, but what is that number, more or less?
I can get that, JC, do you have an estimate of that total right now?
Not your wish list, JC. That's like
Existing, current in process? I believe it's somewhere around like 7 million.
7 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, JC's wish list is a lot larger than that.
We're fine with the large one.
Are there any questions from the board at this time? I know it's just a report, we're not
We had
voting.
discussed it previously on.
Yes.
So it's
Right, right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
It's
Quiroga.
good to see everybody again.
It's good to see you.
Congratulations to the new and re-elected board members.
Thank you, thank you. We already,
We already saw
we already did agenda item 9A, the oath of offices, but I want to mention at this time, my fellow board members, that we will be voting on board officers at our June meeting. An agenda item for that, because it's customarily done at the time after an election cycle like we just had. But an agenda item for this meeting was inadvertently left out. So we're gonna place it for the June meeting. It'll be the first new business agenda item that we vote on in June, and I just wanted to mention that to the board. Agenda item 9B, consideration and possible action to approve Coastal Bend College's 2026 through 2031 strategic plan.
So just a quick update for the trustees. The information that is in the packet is similar to what's being provided in the handout or the booklet. Our marketing team just did work to revamp the cover page. Before Dr. Blyder gets started, I want to share that we're very proud of this framework in the strategic plan. It's very evident that it's data-driven, it's results-driven. There's key performance indicators that we're going to hold ourselves to a certain standard. It's very objective in the approach, it's not subjective, it's not a pie-in-the-sky strategic plan. It was done very intentionally. There was a lot of stakeholder input that was included into the strategic plan, so it's something that the college should be very proud of as we lead the next 5 years for the institution and the work that needs to take place to make sure that we secure growth and also the improvements that are needed across the college. So.
Trustee Castillo, I know you didn't get an opportunity to view this last week. The beauty starts on page 10. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, this is the strategic plan that was presented to you last month. Only one metric was changed, and it was recommended by our CFO because it better aligns with the business office, under the business office priorities, to establish the standard that she has set. Other than that, it is the same data points that we'll be guiding to. Our lighthouse is 5,000 college credentials within the next 5 years. By 2031, Coastal Bend College will award 5,000 college credentials. Trustee Castillo, for hindsight, over the past 5 years, it was 4,320. So we're looking at roughly a 15% increase across the board. As we look at the metrics, we're looking at about a 15% increase. We do have some things that have never happened, and so it was an NA in our data metric, and so when you see our 2031 goal, it'll be 5, 10, because we want to have it every year, twice a year, and we want to make sure that that standard is in the strategic plan, so it must be accomplished. And these things don't fall by the wayside. The surveys to students, the surveys to employees, to get that feedback and make sure that what we're doing impacts them to the extent that we hope it does. Any questions at this time?
Just a comment that I don't think we've had a strategic plan that is this data-driven, in my experience with a college. So this is exactly, I think, the kind of measure that you have to have if you're gonna know what you're doing. You know, you measure what you treasure, and this is, it's all in there, what we treasure, what we expect for our students, staff, everyone else, so well done.
Well, the leadership team, the multiple teams, the focus groups, the employees that gave us their time, the college contributed to this plan. And there is champions, there's responsible parties. We know exactly who's gonna be on board for what. And I believe it's a unified college endeavor. It's not just one department's undertaking.
That's how it works best.
I agree.
Dr. Blyder.
Sir?
1.7.
Yes, sir? Has a
Clearing
similar
incident report results.
0.
3-year average.
Our 3-year average, we do not have. Wait. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. Yes, the three-year average, we do not have,
I'm looking at 12.
Yeah.
12, page 12.
we do not have the average to the three-year Cleary reports.
I think those have to, because we have the reports available, so we just need aggregate ones.
Yes, yeah.
Those are required, so we have the reports available. We can get that information.
We'll get that information.
Cool, so we don't wanna mess with Cleary.
No, sir, and that's why our goal is zero.
Yeah.
Zero incident reports.
Nice try.
Good deal, thank you very much, I appreciate your response.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Vaughn, just real quick,
Yes, ma'am.
when your measurables are met, because Dr. Vaughn said that his team is gonna do an amazing job with enrollment, what's your plan of action after those measurables are met before the goal?
So it's my hope that I get to come back in a year's time, maybe 2 years' time, and still tell you that we have hit our 5,000 college credentials early. This is our new updated metrics. We have accomplished these metrics. We can add to, but we will not subtract.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. We'll continue to raise the standard as it comes. That way, when we do our next strategic plan, we'll have this data to feed the next one.
And it's almost done for you, you've raised your standards already to some degree. So, yeah.
Any other questions from the board?
I just want to say kudos again to you and your team and everybody that did this. I know it was a college effort and it's very professional looking and you can tell between all the pictures, it looks so engaging with the students and incorporating all that into it. And so the true meaning behind what you're doing, so thank you so
The
much.
team did an excellent job. I picked out the cover, that's why they don't match.
Good job.
If there aren't any questions, any further questions or comments, is there a motion to adopt and approve?
I so move.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 9C, consideration and possible action to appoint the B County Assessor Collector, Michelle Mattis, to complete and publish the 2026 tax rate for Coastal Bend College.
So trustees, this is being brought to the board for approval. It's part of our standard yearly processes. We do have to appoint the tax assessor collector, and for this year, with some of the changes at the B County tax assessor, it will be Michelle Mattis. This is what we're requesting for the board to approve as part of the recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 9D, consideration and possible action to award contract for replacement of the air-cooled chiller for the James R. Dougherty Jr. Building. Suarez, J.C.
Yes, I'll defer this item to JC for a presentation. It's not one of the items on your wish list, right?
No, it was, but turns out that, if you recall, about a year ago, we had a thunderstorm that came through Beagle, and it was in June of the summertime, so it.
Last time it rained, yeah.
Yeah, last time it rained. And it did significant damage to the campus. We had an insurance claim that was activated, and so this is actually part of that. It was, the adjuster accepted it, and so what we're doing is seeking board approval to authorize Southland Industries to replace the chiller for the James Dougherty Dental Hygiene Program for $115,131.43.
And bids were reviewed accordingly?
Oh, yeah. So the insurance adjuster, they came and they brought their own engineers to look at all of the items on the claim. So we have a number of items that are under. This one is just one that we need to get going so we can finish fiscal year with this on the books.
Just curious, was that the low bid?
Excuse me?
I'm just curious, was that the low bid?
This one was just through actually it was through TIPS. So it was
Okay.
a dollar contract.
Yeah,
Paul
didn't
took
it?
took me
Good,
a
thank
minute.
Yeah.
Checking.
No bids, but no RFPs, it was just through the
Gotcha.
co-op.
Motion for approval.
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve, agenda item 9D, the awarding of the contract for replacement of the air-cooled chiller for the James R. Daugherty Junior Building. Any further discussion?
The insurance was already funded?
Portions of it have been, this is one that we will, we pay for it up front and then we submit for reimbursement. A lot of what we did when the damages actually were incurred when the storm hit, we did everything in-house. We brought in Southland or Brent at the time to help us with that. And we paid everything and then submitted for the claim once we hit the deductible. Up until that point, we weren't expecting to do the claim. But once we hit the deductible and we were way beyond it, then we got the approval to do one, to initiate the claim.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 9E, consideration and possible action to approve annual contracts for employment for the 2026-2027 academic year as recommended by the college president. I believe we are postponing action on that.
Yes, trustees, I'd like to request for this item to be acted on after executive session for review.
And it is listed on our agenda,
Yes.
post-executive session. What's it? No, it's already on there. No. We're just moving the agenda item. Actually, it's already there, but we're postponing action. We're not really tabling the item. So we just move on to agenda item 9F, consideration and possible action to approve the purchase of computers for Zoom rooms. Dr. Suarez?
So trustees, with the recent change to Zoom as part of our telephone system, we had already been looking at updating our distance learning or our DL classrooms. A lot of the infrastructure in there was already outdated. It wasn't even gonna work with the old phone system that we had in place. So these changes were already required on behalf of the college. In speaking to faculty, one of the concerns, or a lot of the concerns with those DL rooms is that they weren't fully operational. So they were often going into those rooms and not being able to facilitate instruction with ease. So now with the transition to Zoom, we are requesting to purchase 25 computers so we can basically make sure that all those spaces are conducive of an effective learning environment. The quote that we have received is in the amount of $53,560, and this would be enough to basically retrofit all of the Zoom or DL rooms across the college at all of the locations. So Ryan, I don't know if you want to provide any additional insights or anything that I missed that maybe is important to the trustees.
These computers are going to be mainly to handle the connections between site to site for at least 5 rooms for each site. And basically it's where they teach their classes on something. They're going to have one camera each site with, it's called the OWL, and they could be able to see the instructor and the students at the same time.
Is that an increase from what we had previously, Ron?
Yes, we originally started with 4 rooms. In the last few years, we have increased it to 1 more VC with Donovan's, the CIT classroom lab. That's the newest one that we added.
How old is this equipment? I remember
The,
you said way back.
Life size, we had it since 2015, 2014. Polycom, we had it at least a year after life size. We got in Polycom a year after life size. So it's
That's what I used to teach Jen when we started.
And part of the equipment, it's not even operational, where you can't even go to the vendor to get it replaced.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how outdated it is.
It's useful life, pretty much.
it's pretty much, it was used.
I do want to thank our peers at Del Mar. We had the privilege of walking their campus a few months ago, and they invited us into one of their classrooms, and the technology that we are going to be bringing to this college is in line with what a lot of our industry partners are using. So we want to give faculty what they need to teach effectively, and making sure that the instructional technology is up to date is a primary start of that.
Remain competitive too in the industry, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Dr. Suarez, I want to commend you, sorry, with your association with our different colleges in the area. I think that is a whole new thing for Coastal Bend in the capacity that you're doing it. And the association with Del Mar is one that was needed for a long time. So really kudos to you for that. And look forward to many more opportunities with them.
Thank you, and actually they invited me to a podcast tomorrow. I'm gonna be the first president to speak as part of their new podcast. I'm gonna be speaking to Dr. Escamilla, so it's been a lot of good collaboration in that work. So always very supportive, and we wanna help each other out. Really the goal here is we wanna educate our region and our students, and there's a lot of collaboration that's needed for us to do that, so.
He's a great person.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person, and it's good to see your collaboration with him. I think that will bring some great opportunities for both their students and ours, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree.
I move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion?
And just a quick comment to the trustees, also that I think is important. We've been able to realize these improvements with this year's operating budget. We're not requesting any additional funds. A lot of the cost savings that we've initiated over the past, I would say, year have allowed us to save and really reallocate resources to where they need to be, which is with our faculty and our students and instruction.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 9G, consideration and possible action to approve the award of contract for ERP and student information system. Dr. Schwartz.
So on this request, trustees, we do within the next year have to basically renew our agreement with Elution, unless we're going to be choosing another ERP system vendor to replace that system. Our team has initiated in the RFP process, and they have recommended that we continue with Elution. Having any type of transition of this size would be a huge investment on behalf of the college that right now it's something that we can revisit at a later time. Really the request here is to allow me to negotiate that contract with the vendor. The initial quote that we had gotten for a one-year agreement was in the amount of $391,455. With that request, or with this request, I will be going back to the vendor and making sure that that platform is right-sized along with the IT team. So all that to say is that we have selected to continue with this vendor, and the request is to negotiate that contract not to exceed this amount in order to have that discussion and that continuity with Elution.
Isn't he one of the forefront companies, is that correct?
Yes, and we've had a good experience with them and their platform. There's other platforms out there that are not recommended, Elution not being one of them. I think there's a lot more that we can gain and realize with a lot of the new team members that we have on board, like Ryan, who's doing a lot of our programming in IE, our teams within enrollment and student services, which are also using a lot of that data to either report or to streamline the student experience with other platforms like Element 451. We just have to get a little bit more creative and emphasize the use of that system for the institution. And to be honest with you, maybe right-size some other components of the system that we may not need at this time, which is going to be part of that discussion with the vendor.
Is there any increase on the price from previous one?
There is an increase, and typically and that's part of, I think the initial quote for a one-year agreement is 9%. That's part of the negotiations, that we need to have a very serious conversation about what this agreement looks like long-term.
Brian, how long have we had Elution?
I want to say it was probably 2017,
It's been a minute, yeah.
It's been a while, so.
Okay, pardon me, sir.
Dr. Suarez, will you also be negotiating optional terms? Are you just looking at 1 year or 3 year or up to 5, or is that all in your negotiations?
Tara and I have been discussing a one-year agreement at this time. We do want to evaluate the continued use of the system. So, and part of that determination would be, depending on the terms, just allow us to explore other options that may be available. And once again, have some very open conversations about what does a long-term agreement look like from a cost perspective for the college.
So at this time, you're just requesting to negotiate?
Yes, negotiate and ultimately execute the contract.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion to approve?
So, second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? None? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 9H, consideration and possible action to approve of campus flooring upgrades and replacement services. Dr. Suarez?
I'd like to start off by, I know JC will give us the details regarding this project, but as we've shared, we're being very intentional about our outward-facing facilities and just the experience that students have at the campus. So part of this initial request for this flooring work that needs to take place at the institution is to update what I would say are key areas. Our advising spaces are problematic. The spaces where our student services teams meet with our students and guide them in what needs to take place with respect to course scheduling and advising. We really need to invest, I would say, heavily in making sure that we make these improvements. Once again, the requests for the funds are what we've identified in savings over the past year. So we're not requesting additional funding from the board or any type of budget adjustment or addendum. It's just really us requesting this allotment amount, which exceeds the procurement threshold, to make sure that we make upgrades to those spaces. The primary focus is going to be our advising spaces for our advisors, and once again, anyone outward facing to students. So our dean of students, our vice president of student affairs, those office spaces need to be improved, and it starts with the flooring. The rest of the infrastructure is in fairly good condition, but it's very problematic when students are walking into a space and the carpet is lifting off of the ground, or there's tears within the carpet, or there's stains within the carpet that have been there for 5 to 10 years. I think we can do a lot better job of the image that our students and the experience that the students have when they visit our campus. So JC, if you want to kind of add or elaborate on just the specifics and the details of it.
Yes, so this one is one that's on everybody's wish list, so not just mine. But yeah, just to add with Dr. Suarez, I mean, we have a beautiful campus. We do have some beautiful floors, and then you walk into some spaces that are need some upgrades. So that's essentially what we're doing, bringing this, beautifying the place. That's what we're doing here. So.
And able to do it within the current budget is a nice plus.
Yes, it is.
How many buildings are we looking at, or?
Currently, for sure 3, we're considering 4, but it's just gonna be quoting and finding out what we can bring into this budget.
Is this something that you're looking at our other campuses as well?
Yes, you said.
At
so-
some point, you've
Yes,
got it along
so
the.
we do have like a master plan, a deferred maintenance list, so some of these items have been on there for some time. So this is our main campus, administrative campus, so we want to start here.
Flagship.
What's that?
Flagship.
Yes, sir, flagship. So that's why we want to start on this particular campus. And if you've noticed, we've got a lot more traffic coming through, and there's a lot more visitors, so I think it's a good approach to.
I'd like to move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved to approve and seconded. Any further discussion?
I just have one question, if you don't mind. How does this, our maintenance tax note, was that in the plan at all to do any of these improvements or upgrades to these campuses? Or would you be requesting any type of reimbursement for the maintenance tax note for these improvements?
For the flooring?
Yes, sir.
No, this was through savings that the
Okay.
administration was able to identify.
And do you plan on using a cooperative vendor, or do you know what procurement method you plan on using?
We always plan to use a co-op. It could be Buy Board Tips or Omnia, whichever gives us the best pricing. So best to always go that route. And,
Best practice.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And it helps with timing and getting the project
You're
moving.
gonna get done and ready. Okay, thank you so much.
Make it more inviting.
We'll take recommendations on color. Yes.
I love that part.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Move on to item 10. A, consideration possible action to approve monthly financial reports for the month of April 2026. Dr. Suarez?
And on this board item, trustee, we have Kristen will actually join us virtually, so she'll give us an overview of the the monthly financials. Answer any questions of the trustees.
Hello, today I'm gonna present, for Tara. Can y'all hear me okay?
Now we can.
Okay, so the first one that we're gonna look at is the budget to actual for our restricted funds. And our CBC's restricted funds consists of our debt service, our state benefit appropriations, financial aid, and grants that are federal, state, or local. And as you can see, on here that we are very close to receiving all of our tax revenue for our debt service on there. We have not made our August tax maintenance note payment on there. And then there's always a timing difference with financial aid and the grants because the financials are due so at the beginning of the month, and a lot of the closeout entries for the prior month haven't been done, and we have to reconcile the grants or the financial aid before, to draw them down before we can do the journal entries. So there's always that bit of timing difference. So that's why you don't see any revenue here. It's because as of 4:30, they had not been done yet. We are working on them right now. Okay, all right, next, we're gonna go to our unrestricted and our unrestricted funds. As you can see, we are still waiting for two of our state appropriations, the base tier and the performance. We have all 75% of it, and we will be getting the last bit here in the next month or so. As you can see for FAST, that amount that's in the year-to-date was actually for prior year, but we did receive in May FAST for this current year. And so you should see that on the financials that are presented in June. And as you can also see, we actually went over budget in our student tuition for April. We're over about $285,000 of the budgeted amount. And there's something, yay! Also, other income. Other income is made up of mostly like our CE workforce, our dental hygiene, or our cosmetology on there. And then, as you can see at the bottom here is our reserve for contingencies and then our additional savings. So currently, our additional savings is a total at, for April 30th, was $772,022. Next is going to be the statement of net position. So a lot of the statement of net position, which is like a balance sheet, doesn't really change until we go through audit, and a lot of stuff gets capitalized, or we get the audit journal entries at the end. So most that changes are like the current assets or the current liabilities. And so you can see at April 30th, we had unrestricted cash and cash equivalents of $13.6 million. We had accounts receivable of $2.7 million. We also had a little bit of prepaid expenses. We did have restricted cash and cash equivalents. This is made up of our debt service, money to pay for our tax maintenance notes, but also the tax maintenance note funds that we're still holding for those projects that are still needing to be done. And then we have our long-term investments that are the LPL that we've invested. And then down in our current liabilities, we have our accounts payable, which is about $1 million, and then our accrued payroll with $700 and some thousand. And the rest of it really doesn't change until year end. Does anybody have any questions? Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the monthly financial report for April 2026. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 11A, review of contracts for employment and resignations as recommended by the college president.
For this item, trustee, I'd also like to request for it to be reviewed under executive session, along with the contracts for employment.
Okay, We'll move it on the agenda post-executive session. Item 11B, board committee reports. I don't believe there are any.
That's correct, no board committee reports for this.
Okay. All right, the next agenda item is item 12, executive session. Okay, it is 7 o'clock, and at this time, the board will convene in a closed meeting to discuss the following items posted on our agenda this evening as allowed by the Texas Government Code. Texas Government Code, Section 551.076, security devices or security audits. Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, personnel matters. No voting will take place in closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussions in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. It is now, as I indicated, 7 o'clock. Thank you very much. Okay, it's 8:58, and the board is now back in open session. I believe there's one item, item 13A, that the board may now vote on. Is there a motion on item 13A?
It says move to approve annual contracts for employment for the 2026-2027 academic year as recommended by the college president.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded twice to approve item 13A. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Dr. Suarez, I believe you have announcements.
Yes, Board Chair. So we have just some quick announcements. Our summer hours begin May 18th, and they end August 7th. The work hours between in the summer session will be between 7:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and closed on Fridays. Del Mar College is starting their own radio station where I will be presenting or co-presenting with President Escamilla tomorrow on Wednesday, May 20th. I'm very excited about that as well.
What time?
I'll get the time. It's actually at 11 p.m., but they'll release it. I'll get the link.
Oh, great, thank you.
And then we have NISOD's 2026 Annual Conference in Advancing Community College Student Engagement being held May 23rd through May 26th. The board chair and myself and Braden Reed will be presenting from Transfer to Promise, Designing Guaranteed Bachelor's Access for Rural Community College Students on May 25th in Austin. So once again, just highlighting the Promise to Promise work that we've been facilitating, and it'll be a good opportunity for board representation at the national level in a conference presentation. Real Transportation is hosting their semi-annual conference. It is being held at the Coastal Bend College Alice site on May 30th of this year. We'll be facilitating and helping them with that work. I will be the keynote for that conference. Once again, we'll be allowed to highlight the work that's taking place at the college. The Chase Field Food Truck Park Pickoff and Ribbon Cutting organized by the Bee Development Authority will be held at 2745 Bird Street in Beeville on June 5th. And we will be hosting a visit from our Texas Pathway coach, Dr. Aisha Lau, on June 15th and 16th. The visit is an important touch point in our continued work with the Talent Strong Texas Pathways Initiative. And then lastly, the June regular board meeting will be held Tuesday, June 16th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. here in the Sandy Bergs boardroom. That's it for my announcement.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded? Is there a second?
I'll second it. I need to get on the books this minute.
Okay, trustee Castillo,
I was waiting for you, I was looking.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
So we'll take a little tour of the Yost facility. We did get these binders. These are part of our new hire orientation, so our new employees get this when they onboard. It does have our mission on one of the first pages, so we don't forget the work that needs to take place here. So in case you don't need it for note taking.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.